Today we're going to talk about Austin Kendall versus Jalen Hurts. And all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today we're going to talk about Jalen Hurts versus Austin Kendall. And this video sponsored by American Putter Company, where you can get a custom head cover, among other things. Go there, use my name, RJ Young, at checkout. Helps the channel, helps them. I'm very excited to be partnered with them. So now, let's talk about Jalen Hurts versus Austin Kendall. And as a basis, let's start with just the transfer quarterback carousel, such as it is. In many ways, this wasn't started by Kelly Bryant. Started by Hunter Johnson at Clemson, who decided, you know what? I see the writing on the wall. I see this kid, Trevor Lawrence. I see Kelly Bryant. I'm better off just going to Northwestern. And we've seen that all over the board with Justin Fields transferring to Ohio State, Jacob Eason transferring from Georgia to Washington. We've seen Tate Martell go to Miami. We've seen Austin Kendall go to West Virginia. We've seen Jalen Hurts come to Oklahoma. We still don't know what's going to happen with Shane Buechele and Josh Jackson as of making this video. But I was thinking about this with a buddy of mine, and he brought it to my attention that, hey, RJ, you know, maybe Austin Kendall's been written off. And I was like, nah, not really, but I get where he's going at. And I think it's interesting to point out that the only grad transfer battle that is guaranteed to happen 2019 is Jalen Hurts versus Austin Kendall. Now, I know there is a quarterback competition that will be held at both institutions, but come on, man. If you're going to bet money, you're going to bet on Jalen Hurts to win the job at Oklahoma in 2019. You're going to bet on Austin Kendall to win the job at West Virginia in 2019. Number one, Jalen Hurts was brought here because Lincoln Riley thought that he was a better option at quarterback than Austin Kendall, who he had groomed for 3 years, and a guy he had talked up in preseason and at the Orange Bowl as a dude that contended with the Heisman Trophy winner and the best player in college football and a number one overall pick in the Oakland Athletics organization. Also could be a number one first round draft pick. You know, we'll see what happens in the NFL. But you get what I'm saying here. I thought that Austin Kendall was going to be handed the keys because he was good, not because I felt like, you know, he was entitled to it. I thought that Lincoln Riley was being on the level because I had no reason not to think Lincoln Riley was being on the level until he brought Jalen Hurts in for a visit. And you saw the reporting that I did on that along with Brandon Drum. Jalen Hurts is your guy. You don't bring that dude in to ride the pine behind Tanner Mordecai or Spencer Rattler. It just ain't a thing that happens. On the other side, at West Virginia, they know they don't have a quarterback. All you had to do was watch West Virginia versus Syracuse in the bowl game. You can see Daniel Holgorsen not knowing what he had because Jack Allison, who transferred from Miami to West Virginia, ain't gonna be the guy. And you see Trey Lowe back there, who was a Jake Spavital dude, probably ain't gonna be the guy. And Chris Chugginoff, who got torched by Oklahoma in 2017, is at Ohio State, where he's probably not going to be the guy there either. And I find it all fascinating because you can look at a guy like Kelly Bryant, who was also in an Austin Kendall type of situation, where he had the unenviable task of following up Deshaun Watson. And all he did was go 12-2 as a starter and get to a college football playoff, only to be told, you know what? You were good enough to get us to a playoff. You're not good enough to win us a national championship way early in the season. So early in the season that he was given the option by Dabo Swinney to redshirt and transfer away. And to this day, Dabo Swinney's had nothing but good things to say about KB. And I think that's a feather in Dabo Swinney's hat. I also think that Kelly Bryant could have just, you know, stayed on, won a national title, and then slid out the door, as opposed to just declaring that he did not want to be a part of the team for the rest of the season. And this is how that redshirt thing kind of happens. And we see how all of this works out, where dude could have ended up with a national title ring that didn't. Now he's at Missouri, where he'll likely be the guy following a Drew Lock kid that everybody likes going into the NFL draft, along with the kid from Duke, Daniel Jones, who I think is better off playing tight end for the Patriots. But you can see how this has worked out for Austin Kendall, and that he played behind two back-to-back Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks, which is terrible luck. And also, coming out of high school, was rated more highly than Jalen Hurts. And the only difference was Jalen Hurts got to play right away as a true freshman, show everybody what he is made of, and win all the accolades, set all the records. Austin Kendall never got that shot at Oklahoma. And while he did get a start at Oklahoma, he got the start because Kyler Murray got in trouble, which doesn't really mean that you earned the job. It means that you were also there, and that's why this kind of sucks, because what Lincoln Riley and Austin Kendall did, it's a bad breakup. It's Lincoln Riley saying, you know what? I really like this person, and I would rather break up with them and go date this other person, but until I know that this other person wants to be with me, I'm going to hold on to you and say you can't go anywhere until I'm sure I get to get into bed with this other person. And I know a lot of folks are going to hate that analogy, but that's what it is, man. Lincoln Riley made a mistake in trying to hold on to Austin Kendall while also trying to grab hold of Jalen Hurts. We all believe that Jalen Hurts is going to be there, but apparently he didn't think it was such a done deal as to be able to let Austin Kendall go in time enough for Austin Kendall to leak to Jake Trotter at ESPN that he wasn't being granted his release. I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, that Austin Kendall or his camp released to Jake Trotter that he was not going to be able to get his release to go to West Virginia. Could be the West Virginia folks for all I know. Point is, it got to Trotter in time to write a story, and public pressure in mere hours mounted around Lincoln Riley that he had to acquiesce and let the kid go because he knew what the optics were going to be going forward in the future, and I've made a video about that. But I also kind of think that folks are writing off Austin Kendall based on what? What? You saw him play in an offense that was geared for Kyler Murray and you didn't see what you liked? Okay. You saw him back up Baker Mayfield in a year where Kyler Murray had to redshirt and you didn't see what you liked? Okay. I still think that Austin Kendall is going to be an outstanding quarterback. I hope he gets the tools or the developed tools in a hurry around him to make him competitive at West Virginia. I don't think they're going to be world beaters or anything like that, but I would like to see the dude put up the kind of numbers and put together the kind of tape that can get him a job in the NFL as quarterback. What you need is somebody to believe in Austin Kendall the way that Mike Gundy believed in Taylor Cornelius all last year while he had Spencer Sanders on the bench, not even getting a single snap, which I find just baffling. But then again, Mike Gundy's not so much into winning football games. Mike Gundy's into just outright loyalty, and I guess that's what you'll take up there at Stillwater. But Jalen Hurts versus Austin Kendall, the West Virginia OU game, is going to be on par with OU Texas when we're talking about storylines. Not necessarily what y'all think or what I think is going to be big games because of two ranked teams and two very good football teams, but because there's going to be a lot of feelings in there. It's going to be Drake. Y'all going to be in your feelings about watching Austin Kendall throw passes. And if he manages to light up Alex Grinch and throw shades of Mike Stoops' defense on this team based on what he knows about it and how he can pick it apart, I'm not going to begrudge him that. Still want Oklahoma to win the game, but I would like to see Austin Kendall get his, and maybe even at OU's expense, to the point of if he passes for 350 and 4 touchdowns like everybody else did last year and Oklahoma still gets the W, that's a win-win for me, because I think Austin Kendall got a raw deal here at every single turn. He just got a terrible hand of cards. At one point, I'll bet he wishes he would have gone almost anywhere else because he wanted to start as a quarterback, and he's that good. On the other hand, Jalen Hurts, who I believe in, who everybody believes in, and you got to have faith in Lincoln Riley, which is what I've been saying all along, has a lot on his shoulders from the standpoint of there are folks that still question whether or not he can actually throw the football in this offense, which I, think is ludicrous, but you don't know till you see it. Okay, fine. You also know that you were brought here to take Oklahoma to a national championship game. So the bare minimum you can do is get to the college football playoff for a third straight year. What if they don't do that? What if the season goes in such a way that they go 9-3, don't win the Big 12 title? All of this is also on Jalen Hurts, right? Because you came here to develop into a better quarterback, to get the kind of tape you need to start, because we're not going to start behind Tua Tagovailoa at Alabama, and to have the tools at your disposal to where there aren't any excuses for you not being good. It's as much of a plug-and-play scenario as there is in college football. That's why all the national media outlets are saying that Jalen Hurts to Oklahoma is the transfer coup of 2019. That is including 5-star wide receiver Bruce McCoy leaving USC 3 weeks after signing to go to Texas. That's including Justin Fields possibly being eligible at Ohio State to plug and play. That's including Tate Martell to Miami, where they loaded up on transfers, and they're going to be very good, if not this year, then next year, if Manny Diaz can get them to playing any kind of offense. And with Dan Enos back there, former quarterbacks coach at Alabama, now the offensive coordinator at Miami, I wouldn't put it past them to put together a pretty good Miami team. Don't think it's going to be good enough to beat Clemson, because Alabama wasn't even good enough to beat Clemson. Matter of fact, Alabama was just good enough to get railroaded by Clemson. So I'm going to watch that Miami team, but I don't expect them to win the ACC title. I expect them to be very, very good, though. That's not saying anything, because we expected Miami to be good last year, and then they fell off a cliff. You can blame Mark Richt for that if you want to. You can also say that Manny Diaz had a hand in that, because he was defense coordinator. And while the defense wasn't terrible, wasn't anything to write home about either. And all of this while Jacob Eason probably wins the job now that Jake Browning has exhausted his eligibility to be the head man, the starting quarterback at Washington, which always puts together a stout defense. And I think he gets Myles Gaskin back, but we'll have to wait and see on that. All I'm saying here is that of all these intriguing prospects about which quarterback is going to do what, and how much we would love to see Ohio State, Georgia, and we would love to see Alabama, Oklahoma in the college football playoff, there's only one battle where we know that the best is going to have an opportunity to go against the best. And we're going to see trading cards like you see trades in the NFL and trades in Major League Baseball and trades in the NBA. And everybody's feelings are going to be tied up in a tizzy. Don't count on Austin Kendall. And also, don't necessarily think that Jalen Hurts is just going to walk into the college football playoff. The Big 12 is not the toughest conference in the country, but it ain't no easy win neither. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.